Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Johnson Controls and Almoid Air Conditioning, a group company of Almoid Contracting Group, I would like to take this opportunity to welcome each one of you to this webinar. Today, we will be going through the technical presentation on the concept of combining efficiency and intelligence to optimize the energy consumption. We will be having two presentations, one on energy efficient inverter scroll chillers, Amici series. On the other side, we'll be having airside solution for high efficiency and improved indoor air quality. I am Shahrukh Mohammed, your host for this afternoon. With immense pleasure, I would like to introduce the respected members of the partners who are virtually present at this gathering. Representatives from Almoid Air Conditioning, Mrs. Hala Almoid, Executive Director, Almoid Contracting Group, Mr. M.T. Matthews, Director and CEO, Almoid Contracting Group, Mr. Ramachandran, General Manager, MEP Project, Almoid Air Conditioning, Mr. Lohidas, General Manager, Sales and Service, Almoid Air Conditioning, and Mr. Kiran Kumar, Senior Sales Manager, Almoid Air Conditioning. From Johnson Controls, we have with us Mr. Mohammed Baklaizi, Sales Director, Applied Products, Middle East and Africa, Mr. Abdurrahman Khalil, Director, Airside Solution, Middle East and Africa, Mr. Praveen Yadav, Application Engineer, Rest of Asia, and Mr. Sanal Kumar, Area Sales Manager, Bahrain and East Africa. For any questions related to this webinar or products, you can type your questions in the QA window right below your screen, and your questions will be answered towards the end of the QA session at the end of all presentation. I would like to now welcome Mrs. Hala Almoid to address this gathering to kickstart this event.
Thank you, Mr. Shahrukh Mohammed. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this webinar. I'm Hala Farouk Al-Muayyad. On behalf of Almoid Contracting Group and Johnson Controls, I would like to take the opportunity to welcome each one of you today to this webinar of combining efficiency and intelligence to optimize energy consumption. As you know, Johnson Controls has air conditioning products with the name York associated with Al-Muayyad for the last 50 years now in Bahrain. Webinars are more common nowadays during the time of the pandemic as a way for us to communicate and develop our product and be able to bring it to market. So we thank you all for being available here today. We'd like to update you on the technologies and latest development that has come through Johnson Controls. And we'd also like for you to have enough time to look through the appropriate selection of products and designs when you're deciding your product. I'm sure that the webinar will be useful today to everybody here, from engineers, consultants, architects to contractors and clients. I wish that our attendees will find this event useful, and our team members such as Mr. Ram, Lohidas, Kiran will be available at your disposal to assist you with any requirements. Please don't hesitate to contact them for any requirements you have. Let me express again my sincere thank you and appreciation to every one of you for attending this webinar today and to making this event successful. Thank you. We can't hear you.
Shahrukh, unmute yourself.
Thank you, Ms. Hala Almoid. It was indeed a wonderful address. As I see, people are still joining this webinar. For those who have joined late, let me repeat. Any questions related to this webinar or product, you can type your questions in the QA window below your screen, and your questions will be answered during the QA session. Now, I would like to call upon Mr. Mohammed Baklaizi, Sales Director, Applied Product Middle East and Africa, to address our guest. Sir, please.
Thank you, Shahrukh, and thank you, Madam Hala, for this nice introduction, and welcome our valued customers for this webinar on behalf of Johnson Control and our partner in Bahrain, Al-Muayyad Air Conditioning. We really welcome you in this webinar. As Madam Hala said, life is changing and we are part of this change. So this is, one of the changes we have. we really would like, as all of us, to go back to the customer face-to-face meeting. Fully optimistic this will come soon, and we go back to live, meeting. But we would really prefer to have this, and not to be away from our customers as much as possible using this available technologies. This meeting, we really recommend you after this, my part, to listen to the both chillers and airside details that we will share with you about the latest technologies that we are developing here in Johnson Controls, which will be mostly connected to the latest technology in energy savings. And again, thank you for joining this. As Sharouk said, please, if you have any questions, clarification, leave us your contact in the chat box, and we should answer it in this webinar or after that by contacting you directly. Thank you again and welcome to this event. And back to you, Sharouk.
Thank you, Mr. Mohammad Baklaizi, for your wonderful address. Moving forward with the event, I would like to now invite Mr. Praveen Yadav from the Johnson Controls to take us through the technical presentation on energy efficient inverter scroll chillers, Amici series. Request you, sir, to please start your presentation.
Hi, Sharouk, host disabled participant screen sharing. So can you help me with that? I need the access to share the screen. Thank you very much. I hope we are good with the screen, right? As far as the presentation. Sharouk, are you able to see the screen? It's good to go, right? Thank you very much. Welcome everyone. We'll be talking here today on air-cooled modular scroll chillers, heat pumps. 4 of the main models which we have. I would like to just deep dive due to the time limitation we have in hand. We'll start working on it. YCAEX, YMAA, YMAE, and YVAG. All of them are mini scroll chillers with the heat pump capability, air-cooled heat pump. Each one of them would be distinguished, how they are different among each other, and how would we have the benefits when we are talking about VRF. We'll talk more on that front as well. So talking about the history, we started with YCAC with R22 in 1999, and later on we move on to YCAE. YCAE is a very, very good product for a long time. We have YCAEX as well. And then we came up to YMAA, YVAG. All these models will be confusing right now. Hopefully by the end of the presentation, each one of them would be clear to you and how this is going to contribute to the energy. And especially when we talk about VRF, we'll be more clear on that part. So this is a general history which we have. We started with YCAC, and today we have YMAA, and YMAE is the recent launch which we have. We'll talk about that as well. YCAEX, if we talk about the major components which we have here is RPF, bluefin coil, bluefin coating which we have. Then we have hermetic scroll. It's a dual speed fan motor. We do not have EC fans or anything on this. It's a normal stage fan arrangement where we have for YCAEX. BPHE is the heat exchanger which we offer on the YCAEX. Just to give a highlight on the numbers when we talk about how it looks like as far as the COP level goes, YCAE 65X ranging to 65 kW. It starts from 65 to 130 kW. Those are the numbers at AHRI. 3.18 to 3.3, that's the range we'll get on the full load COP. IPLV is also mentioned, which is going to be around 5.5, which is quite good when we talk about efficiency. So this is the most efficient numbers when we have. We also have different chillers when we talk. YCAE is more focused on a good full load COP. And when we have to look at a decent part load value, definitely we'll look into this arrangement. All the compressors are fixed compressors here. Moving on, the advantage which we see with YCAEX is that, or any of the mini chiller, I would say, is that we always have a backup. With VRF, we do face a challenge if there is any issue with the indoor unit or any issue with the compressor of the outdoor unit, we would have to turn down the system completely. That would not be the case with the mini chiller. A very, very good example would be a villa, for example, wherein we need, there are many villas and we need, instead of going for the VRF, rather than having a backup, so that all the villas are running as well at the same time. So why not have a backup kind of unit, which would be taking care of it? So it has different circuits. Each circuit has different compressors. So we can run each circuit separately. So that's an advantage which we see when we talk about the mini chillers. Moving on, the controls are made very easy. We have a wired controller system as well. We can go for the touch screen as well. All the units can be controlled through one control, and we do have the wired one and wireless. There's a master slave arrangement as well, which can be done in the controls of the unit. That's for YCA. We have only 3 models in YCA, ranging from 4550C to 130 kW. Those were the numbers, 65 to 130. So those are the 3 models which we have in that. Now moving on to YMAA. I'll just try to go through the presentation here.
Praveen, please share your audio also.
Thanks for the heads up on that. So that was the video which we had on the complete system of YMAA. Explaining more in detail would be was more on with respect to how YMAA is there and how the control system is taking place, how we can manage the fan coil units and how we can tailor it to get the best out of the system. So Versys is explained more in detail as well. YMAA, a brief picture is given on that. It was more on the controls and how we can modulate and have more savings comparatively. This is the exceeding, as far as YMAA, this is the energy efficiency standards which we have when we talk about YMAA. We do clear the tier 2 requirement. Our as far as the heating goes, we are about 3.2 COP requirement of Eurovent. So we do qualify on the tier 2. Comfort cooling as well, we do a good job there as well, qualifying for the tier 2. MEG chillers in the process cooling also tier 2. That's another advantage which we'll talk more when we talk about VRF, because we do not have that kind of advantage at the low temperature which we'll be able to get in the mini chillers. So we'll be talking on that front as well. We are doing good with tier 2. So as far as the energy efficiency standard goes, we are in the tier 2 of Eurovent regulations here, eco-design regulation category. This is the basic structure. We do have the EC fans here. That's what is going to be different compared to the YTEX, helping us more in terms of full part load COP. We do get that advantage here. DC inverter scrolls. We do not have DC inverter scrolls on all compressors. It's going to be on one compressor. Second compressor is going to be fixed. And we try to see the balance, what we can get out of the system. And definitely this helps in improving our part load values, which is very crucial. So yes, we have DC inverter scroll on YMAA, but it's not going to be on all compressors. It's going to be a U-shaped condenser. Most of the rest all stuff remains the same. So that's a differentiation here when we talk about YMAA compared to YCAE. In YCAE, we had like a stage fan arrangement. Moving on, just to give a feel of each option, we do have Versys, we do have web interface monitoring as well. We do not provide the control through the web, but yes, monitoring is available on the smart equipment board through the Versys compatibility. This is what the flow switch, water filter, and Victrolic would look like when we talk about YMAA. More pictures, we do have the ultra-quiet kit arrangement as well. We do meet the requirements somewhere around 65 to 70 dB with the sound pressure requirements at roughly 1 meter for ultra-quiet kit. Very, very good. And what goes into ultra-quiet kit would be this boxing arrangement, which you would see in the picture. So that's one thing which helps us to attenuate the sound to a greater extent. We also have blanket on all the compressors and the lower speed fans, which help us to meet those sound levels which we require. So that's very, very crucial here. We have the pump kit arrangement as well. We do have single pump. We do have VSD pump arrangement as well on certain models. Models are highlighted as well. It's going to be internal mounting as well and external mounting, which is available. So it's an option which is available if you want to go for a complete package system rather than just having pumps to be ordered separately. We do have the option of providing it as an integrated option. Wired controller. So one wired controller can be kept outside, and then you can have different numerous controls which can be applied as well. That's one arrangement which can be done. For example, here you can have the main controller. This can be wired as well or touchscreen, whichever you prefer. And we do have the arrangement of getting it controlled through inside as well. Talking about YMAE, this is our recent product which has joined the line. It has been roughly 1.5 to 2 months only. The advantage with this YMAE is only 2 product models are there, YMAE45 and YMAE65, catering to 45 kW and 65 kW. COPs are good. The advantage and differentiation here compared to YMAA is that we'll provide the fully inverted compressor here. So we have the complete compressors. It's not going to be, one is going to be with fixed and one is going to be with inverter. It's going to be a fully inverter machine, which is going to give us great advantage on the part load values. Also, we have an EVI injection system, which is there, enhanced vapor injection system in this, which is definitely helping us to improve the capacity because it's going to cater the compressor. to give that extra plate heat exchanger, which will basically cater to the compressor and also to the increasing the capacity by helping in the lower gas discharge to the evaporator. So we do have the EVI system, enhanced vapor injection system, installed here besides inverter compressor as well. BLDC fans are also one more advantage which we see compared to what we were seeing in YMAA. 80 Pascal pressure we can meet for the high rise. This is going to be really, really beneficial compared to YMAA, which is around 30 to 40 Pascal. This can go up to 80 Pascals. So high static requirements would be really met here. Also, we can go up to 60 degrees centigrade on the living water temperature for the heat pump. That's a high number when we talk about the high living water temperature requirements. So that's available here. Others can go up to 55 C, that's the number. Yep. Moving on to the YV-AG. This is another product line wherein we have single phase for range and for the three-phase arrangement. It ranges from 12 to 18 kW. Very, very good on the full load COP and part load. We have the Hitachi brand DC inverter compressors here. All of them are inverters and does a very, very good job as far as the full load COP and part load goes. Cost-wise also will be very, very competitive on YV-AG. Moving on, it also gives arrangement of which can be done with the chillers, is you can go for the underfloor heating, which is not possible with VRF. You can go for the fan coil unit. That's another thing, because we are very limited when we talk about the VRF. It has to be either a concealed unit or it has to be a exit unit, and the whole system has to be designed accordingly. So with our mini chillers, that's not the case. You can go for underfloor heating, you can go for the fan coil unit. If you want to go for the radiator, you can go for that. Those will be the challenges with respect to mostly with respect to the VRF system. Moving on, also we do have this easy installation because the discharge is gonna be on the sideways arrangement with YV-AG. So that's another advantage which we can see here with YV-AG model. The airflow is gonna be on the sideways rather than going on the top of the unit. This is another picture which gives a brief idea. Okay, we have the main controller, and then we have different thermostats T8600 which are going to take control of each room and cater to here, so we can take care of through this. So this is the main arrangement. Just a picture to give you an idea on the same. Talking about the mini chiller system versus VRF, the advantages, we'll just go through this section a bit quick here to just go through the advantages which you'll see. As we see the power consumption, when we see indoor and outdoor unit in the VRF system, the compressor is basically not accounting the refrigerant which it has to pump to the farthest unit. So whenever they give you the full load COP or the power input, those particular power input values are not taken into account, which should be taken into account and which will have losses as well. So very important point is that we do take that into account when we are working with our mini chiller. So it's important to go through the details, especially when the energy saving is involved. We need to make sure that the pumping of the refrigerant from a further distance needs to be calculated, and we need to know how much is used by the compressor for same. So very critical. Other points which we see as far as the maintenance goes, the flexible system and any one of the chiller unit or FCU can be repaired individually without stopping the whole system. That's a very crucial point when we talk about chillers. You know, we can remove the FCU, that can be fixed. We don't have to shut down the whole system. We don't have to drain all the refrigerant as we do in case of the VRF. So that's a very, very added point when we talk about the flexibility. It also can be extended. We can also increase the number of indoor units or how much we have to go if you have to increase the cooling load. But that would be a tough spot with VRF as well. Replacement, if you have to replace it, that's also quite easy in case of chillers when we are talking about VRF. Mentioned here already that VRF system has to be stopped completely to get any repair or commissioning to be done. There's also a code which is quite there for the refrigerant leakage. R410 is what we have in the lines. And very important point is in Europe also they have started seeing this as very critical, considering the direction of the refrigerant flow. Because if there are any leakages in the system, we need to maintain a refrigerant concentration limit. As per ASHRAE, which is around 0.4, Australia code is around 0.43. That's what they have requested. So we do have a challenge as far as R410A goes, because it's a heavy gas, but yeah, it's going to limit the amount of oxygen in the rooms if there is a leakage. So that's a big concern when we talk about the leakages. So very critical. Talking about the closed system, VRF is just like a closed system, whereas in chiller it's quite open. Also, we have the flexibility to go for any indoor unit, like I have talked. We can go for fan coil if you want to go for HUs, anything which we want can be done. VRF is very restricted. If you have to go for cassette, you have to go for cassette. If it's a high concealed unit, you'll go for that kind of unit. And if it's ducted, you have to go for ducted. Very limited option. It doesn't give the flexibility. Even if I had to go for a different vendor as far as the thermostat goes, or because that would not be possible if you go for the whole system. Moving on, convenient to remove and clean any of the FCUs. So it's more about the maintenance. And this is the summary which I have, which is very critical when we talk about VRF. First of all, talking about the life of equipment. When we talk 10 to 12 years on VRF, compared to 18 years of chiller life. That's one important point. No standby is possible in VRF. Chillers can have standby as much you want, especially in the villa example which I took. Definitely we can keep the system running, even though if there is an issue in the unit, we can keep the system running. That would not be possible with VRF. Limited application for process application. They can't go down to very low living water temperatures. Process application is not possible. Fresh air is another concern. High sensible load application is also a concern for VRF. Flexibility, we talked about that as well, of increasing or decreasing or altering the load. No flexibility as far as changing or just moving one system to another. Also duration of piping length and bends, which are not accounted in the performance, besides the compressor power, which is used for pumping the refrigerant like we talked. So there are also bends in length which are not taken into performance. Very important point which we talk about. Oil recovery cycle after every few hours is a challenge with the temperature rise. Leakages, then we had talk about that. Connected load, we have to go for the higher installed capacity and high capex in electricals, resulting in the high demand charge comparatively. HRI certification is another one which makes us go like, okay, we have some reliability there as far as the chiller goes, but we do not get that on the VRF much. Excuse me. Also the reliance on the tabulated recorded readings in catalog. They have to refer a tabulated document to get the ratings, whereas we have a rating engine which is gonna be very efficient and providing the clear picture as far as the whole entire system goes. One more point which is very crucial is the vertical distance and the horizontal distance, which needs to be taken into account. 7.5 to 10 meters is the limitation, and vertical distance we can't even take. So all written issues would always be there. We have limitation how much we can go on the horizontal distance or vertical distance. Furthest unit to the condenser is the distance which we need to keep as max. Safety, we talked about that as well as per the ASHRAE norm. COP numbers are also based on room temperature. If you see the catalogs, they usually provide, okay, we need the dry bulb temperature to be 27 degrees C. I'm rarely talking about on the how it's going to be like on the living water temperature. It doesn't give the clear picture as far as the full COP numbers goes. Maintenance cost, we talked about that as well. So with this, I would like to summarize and hand it over, Shahrukh. I'm sorry for the rush, but each model is like a whole story. But I wanted to give as much as possible in this short time. Thank you, Shahrukh.
Thank you, Mr. Praveen Yadav. That was a very insightful and informative presentation. As I can see, people are still joining this webinar, and those who have joined, let me repeat, For any questions related to this webinar or product, you can type your questions in the Q&A window below your screen, and your questions will be answered during the Q&A session. Next, I would like to invite Mr. Abdurrahman Khalil from Johnson Controls to take us through the technical presentation on airside solution for high efficiency and improved IAQ. Request you, sir, to take the stage.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for joining this evening event for Johnson Control. First, I would like to talk here in this slides, in this event about the airside solution of how we can improve our efficiency of systems and improve the indoor air quality. It is becoming more and more challenging recently on airside, especially. We have seen in the last 1 year how it is challenging for all of us to spend like majority of our time indoor. So we are talking about most of our time indoor, sitting in our homes. So we are spending more than 22 hours a day indoor. So it's a huge amount of time that we are spending. So we need to balance between our indoor air quality and high efficiency of our buildings, because we need to ensure that the system that we are providing is really ensuring the indoor air quality for our occupants, and it is efficient enough so that we will not consume much of energy, and this is will have like operating costs will be reduced. So we are talking about healthy building. Yeah, we need to care about how our occupants indoor they are, how they are living, and how it is how they are performing, because it is important for us to balance between the indoor and indoor air quality and the high efficiency of our equipment. So we need to enhance the health and well-being of and productivity of our occupants, reduce the absence and health risks for the occupants, optimize the indoor air quality, and reduce the emission of CO2 levels from our equipment, and adaptable to any change in the building occupancy. We have seen how the new rules and regulations due to pandemic, it is forced everybody to reduce the occupancy or reduce the occupancy to 30% to 50%, and our systems should be flexible and flexible in order to have the ability to adapt with these changes. And it has to control the emission to the environment. Because of that, Johnson Control have created a new initiative called Open Blue to focus on healthy building. When we are talking about healthy building, we are talking about 3 pillars for achieving this healthy building. We are talking about healthy planet. For sure, it is important to look after the planet that we are living in, healthy places where we are achieving the higher indoor air quality, and healthy people. So those are the most important pillars for healthy buildings. And in the coming slides, we are going to show features of healthy, how to improve the indoor air quality within the airside products, and how we can improve the efficiency of the equipment. We are going to talk in the coming slides about features of HUs, how to improve the efficiency and indoor air quality. Also, we'll talk about the EC fan cool unit, and we'll go about the ecology unit, which is useful for exhaust kitchen application. Just quickly, this is like a airside product portfolio that Johnson Control can offer you. So we have a wide range of product can serve all your needs in your buildings, starting from HUs, central air handling units, fan cool unit, cooling specialized for data center, different type of dampers and louvers that we can offer you, the smoke and fire dampers, ERV system, ecology units. And recently we have added a portable air purifier, which includes UV lights, HEPA filters, carbon filters, and all type of underfloor cooling, variable air volumes, and chill beams as well. All we can provide under one stop shop. So I will talk here about features of high efficiency air handling units. So we are talking here about the casing. casing of the air handling unit is very important and crucial for the efficiency of the indoor air quality. We are spending a lot of energy in cooling down the water and the air within the casing of HUs, filtering the air, spending a lot of energy to cool down the air from maybe 45 into 12 degrees. And we want to maintain the same quality of this air and the same temperature and same condition up to the final zone. If you are talking about the casing of the HUs, it's very important to have a high quality casing, which can maintain the energy level within the HU casing and improve the indoor air quality by eliminating any infiltration and reduce the air leakages, and also eliminate the condensation on the outer casing. Why outer casing? This will, if there is a condensation, this will come up with a corrosion on the casing and will reduce the lifetime of your unit. Also, this is reducing the health risk. We are talking about high efficiency casing. We are having all our HUs that we are serving. It is with Pentaboss construction with high efficiency insulation, the polyethylene injected foam from 50 to 60 millimeter insulation thickness. And we have a thermal break construction. So we are reducing the metal to metal contact in order to reduce amount of energy transmitted from the outside condition to the indoor. As you know, outside you are installing the HUs either on the roof or in the mechanical room, where the temperature ranging between 45 up to 35, and the indoor is 12 degrees. So it's a big difference of temperature difference, delta. So without proper insulation, proper casing, you will lose a lot of energy to the outside and will have a condensation effect. So having said so, Johnson Controls will provide you with a high class of with a casing which is meeting higher class of according to Eurovan. We are having D1 class according to mechanical strength, L1 in terms of leakage class, T2, TB2 in terms of thermal transmittance and thermal bridging. And this, the design of having a Pentaboss construction, this will ensure you the rigidity and stability of the construction throughout the process, from the offloading and loading of the unit up to the assembly at site, which enable you to ensure that the unit casing and integrity is reserved all over the process. So this is an important aspect of having high efficiency unit. The casing is very important. It's not only a box, it is an important casing with a design of panel to ensure that all the energy is within the HU casing. Second point about the HUs that will introduce you with better efficiency and improve the indoor air quality is using the heat recovery system. In order to improve indoor air quality, we need to introduce much of fresh air into our zones. Introducing fresh air means that we need to spend a lot of energy to reduce the temperature from 45 up to 12. But in case we have heat recovery systems and it is integrated within the HU's software to give you the full clarity about the performance of the system, this will give you assurance that the system is operating in a high efficiency, and our air handling units that we are offering, it can adapt with different type of heat recovery system. We can offer heat recovery heat wheels with different types like hygroscopic, passive wheels. Also, we can offer plate heat exchangers, runaround coils for specifically, we recommend this system for healthcare application, where you don't need any cross-contamination between the two, air between the exhaust and supply. Also heat pipe with different types of horseshoe or vertical heat pipe. So introducing this system into the HUs, this will increase the efficiency of the system and improve the indoor air quality for sure. Also, the other part, which is the fans and motors, it's a moving part, and it is consuming the energy within the HUs. You need to ensure driving the air that you have cooled to the last zone that you have designed the unit to cool. So we have within our air handling unit a wide range of different type of motors that you can select from the software directly. It's not outside the software, it is within the software, which enable you to select different types of like the direct drive fans, which is plug fans, or EC fans, which is having high efficiency, reaching up to IE4. And also we can have different type of options added to our fans, like increasing bearing life, spring type that we can use, and we can use in some cases explosion-proof motors. We can provide standby fan and motor options. So the main focus here that we are providing high efficiency fans, and will provide you less operating costs, and with having the ability to provide multiple fan solution within our HUs, which can provide high reliability and redundancy for your system to operate, even in some cases if you have any breakdown of any fan, the other fan will operate. The other point here also, for your system to operate efficiently, you need to have the fitted control panel within the HUs. The control panel will make the unit to act smartly and to act according to the demand and the load requirement from the system. So it will, in Johnson Control, we can provide a one source of responsibility, like a plug and play unit that you can just plug your cable. The unit will operate completely with all the sensors, with all the MCC and DDC panel, and this will take all the headache of the installation at site, penetration through the casing, installing the sensors, whose loss of responsibility. This all headache can be avoided by having a factory fitted control from one source, from Johnson Control, which can ensure an efficient operation of the HUs. Other features for improving the indoor air quality, we can add different type of filters which are available within our software, and it can improve the indoor air quality. And you know that we have a limitation in some cases that in systems, in order to improve the indoor air quality, it is for sure advisable to add HEPA filters, but HEPA filter, it came with a penalty that it is a high pressure drop. So another choice or alternative of avoiding HEPA filters, in some cases, we can provide electrostatic filters. Electrostatic filter, it can take out the particles. It consists of pre-filter, where it can take out the big particles away, and it includes ionizer, which can make the air with positive ions, and a collector blade, where it is collecting the particles, which is all the particles which is connected on the those particles connected on the air, which is charged with positive ions. It is collected on a negative plates. So collecting plate, and the air is moving away from this electrostatic precipitator, a clean air out of this filter. Another type of improving on the indoor air quality, we have the UV lights. UV lights, it's an old technology, proven technology that has proven its effectiveness on how it will kill the germs and microbes in the environment and in the air handling unit. And it has two benefits for the air handling unit system. It can clean the coils, and it can improve the efficiency of the coils and reduce the maintenance of the coils required. And as well, it will improve and purify the air through the duct and through the zone. So it has two benefits, as I mentioned. It can improve it can clean the coil and improve the indoor air quality. It has been used for a long time, this technology, and it is a proven technology to improve and purify the air. And widely we are using it, and right now, even for portable purifiers, we are adding the UV lights. As I discussed earlier about the HUs, we discussed about features of HUs to improve the indoor air quality. Here I am presenting the two series that we have from Johnson Control. We are having two series covering a wide range of airflow and having a lot of features, and it has a lot of features. We have series of YMA and YSM, two series. It can cover a wide range of airflow. As I mentioned, the units are having hygienic certification for YMA and Eurovent certification, and UL as well, certified performance. The YSM series, it is a modular type design unit. It is having a Eurovent certification. And what is important in our HUs, that we have a flexibility in our dimension and components that we can add into our HUs. So this is what we describe features for improving the efficiency and indoor air quality. All are available within the HUs and within the selection software that you can select all the features to improve the indoor air quality. And as I mentioned, the casing is very important in order to achieve higher indoor air quality and efficiency. Other solutions that in some cases we have locations we are not able to add or adjust on the existing system to improve the filtration rate or improving the amount of fresh air into that system. So we need to find solutions to those systems, because adding HEPA filter, this will increase the pressure drop on the fans and motors. So we have a solution that we can add to your zone and improve the indoor air quality, which is the portable purifiers. Those portable purifiers are efficient solution. Directly, it can be a plug and play, and it can cover a different type of areas. We have we can have different type of portable air purifiers, and the biggest one can cover an overall area of around 200 meters square of an area. So it includes UV lights and includes carbon and HEPA filter to purify and improve your indoor air quality. Coming back to I will give one or two slides about Jeddah factory. We have our factory where we are manufacturing the HUs and fan coolant and different type of products. This is a factory. It is considered one of the biggest in Middle East for Johnson Control. We have this factory started production for HUs since 2002 in KSA in Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and recently we have moved to a bigger facility in King Abdullah city with around covering with around area of 1 million square feet. It's a huge manufacturing area, and it is implementing a lean operation, a one direction flow of all the manufacturing and assembling operation in this factory. Under this roof, we have assembly of HUs, fan cool unit, blower cool unit, small mini chillers, and rooftop package units. And it includes also 3 labs where we can conduct testing for psychometric test and sound test. Quickly, we need to cover the EC fan cool unit. The conventional fan cool unit, it is normally it is operated with a permanent split capacitor motor, where it has only 3 speeds. So you can adjust the speed of the motor, and it is either you have to fix your speed at a low speed or medium speed or high speed. And those motors are not efficient. Hardly you can achieve the efficiency of those motors up to 30-35% efficiency, which is very low efficiency. But recently, with the technology of brushless motor and electronically communicated motors, technology is increasing. So we are introducing the EC motor into our fan cool unit. With this, we are improving the efficiency of the motor and reaching up to 80%. Imagine the maximum of permanent split capacitor, it was up to 30-35. We are increasing the efficiency up to 80% right now by introducing the EC motor into our fan cool unit. So this fan cool unit, it is coming with how we can control the speed of the motor with a signal of from 0 to 10 volt, and it has a high efficiency motors, as I mentioned, up to 80%. and high power factor as well. It can reach up to 0.99 at full load, and it has low harmonics, no need for any filter for to install for these motors, and it has like a 10-volt backup DC power and pulse feedback for rotation speed, and for in case for abnormal operation, it can give like a soft protection for the motor. And also we can control these fan coolant using our thermostat. We have an elegant thermostat that we can offer to control these fan cool unit, with giving ability to connect this thermostat to the BMS to provide a status of the fan coolant operation, like on, off, and the temperature, point of temperature and airflow status. So this technology, it can, as I mentioned, can control the speed of the motor, and it can give a signal from 0 to 10 volts. So it's a linear relation to in which that you can adjust your motor speed with an infinite speed. And the normal conventional motor, you can have only 3 speeds, where you can have either low or medium or high. But in this case, according to your demand at your zone, it can be adjusted on auto mode, so that the motor will adjust the speed according to the set point. It is somehow like similar to the AC within the car, your car. When you put it in auto, it will increase the speed of the motor up to a certain level. When it achieves the set point, then the speed will start to reduce up to to minimum, so that you will save more energy, and you will save a lot of it will improve the sound level for your machine. Those are the most benefits for using AC motor. It is a continuous regulation of the fan speed from 0 to 100%. So it is an infinite adjustment for the speed of the motor. It's not like 3 speeds, it's infinite. Also low mechanical resistance and low overheating. It's reduced wearing and higher reliability on the motor. It is improving the energy saving, longer expected life of the motor, extremely quiet, especially at low, a partial load operation. And it is for sure higher efficiency than the normal motors. In Johnson Controls, we have a full series of product that it is operational with EC motor, and it is covering an airflow from 200 CFM or almost up to 2000 CFM. You have a low static series called YGFC E BLDC motor, and we have YEDFC, and both are HRI certified. The one series of YEDFC, it has completed the HRI certification since we launched it. The YGFC BLDC, it is under final stage of HRI certification. We got certification for 3-row and standard cooling, and in July coming month we are going to complete the full certification for the 4-row and district cooling application. So we'll be able to say that we have the full range of district cooling, full range of EC motor certified. Just to give you the savings in terms of EC motor, we have done a quick estimation of the saving between the standard Berners split capacitor motor and EC motor. We have seen an average saving of 40% of power consumption between the EC and AC motor. So it is quite a big saving for a residential building or hotel application. The issue is that the initial cost of initial cost will be a little bit higher, but look at it from operational cost. You will be saving a lot in operational cost and power consumption and lifetime of your machine. Also, in terms of the sound level at high, at the peak load, you will have nearly close sound level between the Berners capacitor motor and EC motor. But normally we need to look at the partial load. Here the partial load, because in the normal conventional fan coolant, you are just operating in 3 speeds. You cannot tolerate between those speeds. But in the EC motor, you have infinite speeds according to your load, and according to your load, you can adjust the speed, and this will come up with improving the sound level. So the average like reduction in sound level of 5% on the peak load, but at partial load, you will have like a very big savings on like improvement in sound level. Coming to ecology units, ecology unit, it will be like our last topic. I will cover it quickly. Ecology unit, it's like an HU, simply an HU. It is fitted for kitchen exhaust system to clean the dirty kitchen before the air is going to be exhausted, because the air is filled with a lot of oil and odor. And if you exhaust it, especially for like some business community or some locations where it is not, it's forbidden to exhaust the air from kitchens outside, because it will, for example, if you are in tower locations and there is a lot of exhaust, this will reduce the cost of the adjacent building. So they are putting a lot of like regulation before you exhaust this air from the kitchen. You need to filter it using the ecology unit. So ecology unit is utilizing the improved electrostatic purification technology to clean the exhaust air of odor and grease with an efficient, high efficiency and high quality filtration system. So why we need to use ecology unit? There is a global legalization. So it's not like according to my mind to just to exhaust this air to the atmosphere. It has to be filtered before you exhaust it. Also, a kitchen exhaust air contains high amount of smoke, oil, and odor that can cause health and environmental problems. And in case this oil is accumulated in the duct, it will cause a lot of problems over time. How it looks like, the unit is consisting, the ecology unit is consisting of like electrostatic filter, electrostatic precipitator filter fully with a control with the oil ban. And there is a bag filter, there is a carbon filter, and there is EC fans. So this is the 3 stages of this filter that we are using within our ecology unit: electrostatic precipitator, a bag filter, and carbon filter to remove the odor from the air and then exhaust it to the atmosphere with a clean air. We can add also optional UV light. This is like a main component, as I mentioned, electrostatic precipitator, how it looks like, and it has a collector for oil as well, because the air will be having some oil and grease. So we have a band collector of oil, and there is under it a band that you can remove it to remove the oil from the airstream. And there is a bag filter, carbon filter, and this is EC and black fan. So with this, I would say that I covered here in this session most of the items which can improve the indoor air quality and enhance the system efficiency and improve the operating cost for the system. And hopefully that this, for any questions and any related technical requirement, please reach out to us for further clarification.
Thank you, Mr. Abdurrahman Khalil. That was very informative and worthy presentation. Thank you all for being patient. We have seen the informative and worthy presentation. Now it's time to answer all your queries on the product and other details of our services. You can now type your questions in the QA window, and we will be answering a question one by one. So the first question would be from Anish. Is it possible to provide some filter to protect spreading of any kind of viruses? I think Mr. Praveen can answer this question.
I don't have filters, man. Chillers do not provide filters.
Again, can you repeat the question? Yeah.
Okay.
Can you repeat the question? Is it possible to provide some?
Abdurrahman will answer.
Yes. Okay, I think we have discussed during our this session about how we can improve and kill the bacteria. The proven technology to like kill the bacteria and improve the indoor air quality is adding the UV light into your system. For filtration is the minimum amount of like MERV. You need to achieve MERV 13 in your system in order to capture the particles. This is the minimum requirement. So you are talking about bag filter of 85 to 95% efficiency you need to maintain into the system in order to capture the particles, which can, because you know the viruses are not flying by itself in the environment. It is very small particles. It's in microns, so it cannot like flow by itself. So it has to be attached to a particle, and this the particles that it could fly with it. That the filter of MERV 13, this can capture it. But if you can improve the filter to MERV 16, this will be much more beneficial for you. And as I mentioned, to kill the viruses and to have better protection, you need to add UV lights into your system.
Thank you, Mr. Abdurrahman. So the next question is from Mr. Anjum. Is it about the VRF system or the chiller system?
Praveen, you can clarify that.
Mohammed Bakliji has wanted to, he would like to answer this question.
I would say this is a deep technical discussion where we have shared with you, just to show you in general, when we talk about chilled water way of cooling the system compared to the typical VRF. Well, I think all of us is coming from the school where we are seeing how VRF work in the typical system to cool a certain clinic, a school, or even a normal building. In our old traditional mentality, we came from, I will call it the big chiller, the typical chiller. We talk about a chiller of like, 100, 200, 300 ton, which is a 10 to 12 meter length. This is a technology we are coming with it, which we would like to call it mini chillers or baby chillers, where we talk about a chiller of 2 tons. So we talk about exactly the equivalent to the VRF system. You can think about a small mini chiller of 2 tons. You put it in a balcony with a one-to-one relation with your indoor machine. As Praveen has shown, that indoor machine can be a fan cool unit, it can be a radiator, it can be even an underfloor cooling. What do I gain as a customer when I do this change? I mean, changing from the typical VRF to the mini chillers. Actually, many, because when you talk about chilled water system, we all know that there is no, first of all, initial cost. Copper tubes, is not needed. We just talk about BBR, normal plastic tube, that will do the job. Second, if you talk about a school or a clinic, any leakage because of refrigerant presence in the indoor machine will be a major challenge. You don't have the same in the chilled water system. Distance, as Praveen answered one of the questions, is a major challenge because of basically oil trap and oil return. That is not at all a challenge because we deal with water as the fluid. So neither distance nor hazardous nor even leakage, because in case of leakage, all what you have to do in a chilled water system is simply close the isolating valve next to the indoor, unlike in the VRF system where mostly it become really a big challenge. So again, I think it's a mentality or approach change that we have to think. Chillers is no more the bulky pieces, which is available in 200, 300 ton. Chillers now are available, as you saw in Praveen presentation, in 2 ton, 3 ton. It can be, all these chillers are fixed as a plug play with or its own hydraulic kit. Pumps are there. So all what you have to do is a plug play with the indoor machine to have what we like to call it in Johnson Control, VWV, variable water flow. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Baklizi. So the next question is, the efficiency of back filter after a certain period of time remains the same, or what is the cycle of change?
Yeah, for sure, like the maintenance for any system, this is the rule in order to have better high efficiency and better indoor air quality. For any system, for back filter, it is a cycle of like every 6 months you need to have to check the quality. It depends upon the situation and the usage. If you are talking about this filter is used for fresh air, so and you are in a windy situation, so you need to have a regular maintenance, maybe and cleaning of this filter on weekly basis. Replacing the filter, it depends upon the situation, and it can be up to like every 6 months you need to replace this filter.
Thank you, Abdurrahman.
To maintain the quality of the air and avoid the high pressure and avoid high contamination within your system. Okay.
Thank you once again. Thank you. So the next question is, with EC motors, how much can we save? Please tell me the percentage power saving because of the EC motor compared to the total power consumed, IDU plus ODU.
I would say, like in the previous, like we have shown, if we are talking about the fan coil unit, if we are talking about the fan coil unit, the EC motor is having an average saving of 40% over the conventional Bernoulli split capacitor motor. We are talking about a massive saving in terms of the energy. But if we are talking about the normal EC fan against like the belt-driven fans with the normal motors, we have in the system right now in the industry, we have motors are reaching IE3, and the EC motor, it can reach up to IE4. Looking into the full system, that there is no like belts and there is no losses in the shaft, I would say you are talking about at least saving of 15% of the normal fans and the EC fans in terms of the motor, the power saving. This is if you are talking about EC fans, because we are reaching IE4, which is around 95% efficiency, while the IE3 motors, it's in the range of 90%. So if you are talking about the full system, you can reach up to 15% of savings, actual savings. If you are talking about HUs, fan coil unit, as I mentioned, 40% between the conventional and EC motor.
Thank you, Abdurrahman. What is the max? Next question is, what is the max ESP that the EC condenser fan motor generate?
Yeah, apologies. I was trying to unmute it. Yeah, I mean, if we go for the normal fan, like we talked, it's around 30 to 40 pascals. With EC, we can look somewhere with YMAE, especially around 80 pascals. So that's the number which we have on the main, which is with the EC fans, around 8 pascals.
Thank you, Mr. Praveen. So the next question would be, for ecology units, UV was said to be optional. How is it optional if not provided? What is the harm?
Yeah, for this ecology unit, we are providing the unit with which can the objective of the ecology unit is to clean the air, the exhaust air, before we like exhaust it to the atmosphere, while we are removing all the grease through the electrostatic filter, and we are removing all the like big particles through the back filter, and then through the carbon filter we are removing the odors. So we are achieving all the goal of the ecology unit. UV light can be additional features in case that somebody is asking for it. It depends upon the application. At the moment, there is I would not say there is harm on it if you exhaust the air without adding the UV lights. So this is the objective, and with the normal like application, we are achieving this objective, cleaning the exhaust air without the use of UV light. There is also one question before about the EC motor lifetime. It is considered like 10 years lifetime for the motor, and it depends upon the operation of the EC motor. And it can be available on spares as well. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Abdul Rahman. So the next question is, are these EC motors produced with York?
The EC motor, there are like a number of for HUs, we are sourcing the EC motor from like two main global suppliers for EC motor, Zilabeg and EBM Box from Germany. For fan coil unit, we are having like our own design for EC motor from our factory. So it has been designed and developed according to our needs, according to our product design, with a certain vendor who is York certified vendor.
Thank you, Mr. Abdul Rahman. What is the role of the zone controller?
So zone controller is like there's one main control which will take care of the whole system, you know. And zone is like one room, or we have a zone which will have like 5-6 rooms together, which are going to cater to that particular zone. So we can put that thermostat there, and that can take care of that particular zone, which will have like 4 or 5 rooms together. So that is what zone controller is. There will be a main controller, which is there for sure, and then you have the branching. So that ease of access is there, you know. So if there are 4 zones or 5 zones which have multiple number of rooms, that can be taken care of. That's what zone controller is.
Thank you, Mr. Praveen. So the next question is from the same person, Mr. Anjum. What does it mean by saying chillers with heat pump?
So chillers with heat pump is chiller basically just we have the option of cooling. Whereas with heat pump, what we can do is we can have that arranged as a boiler. Instead of boiler, to have hot water treatment, you know. So we have that option as well, wherein the hot water can be generated instead of generating a chill water. So that's the arrangement. So we on these mini chillers, this can be also used for generating hot water, whether it is for a hotel room or for laundry services, how you want to use it. So it's a multi-purpose. It's not only for use for cooling. It can also be used as a heat pump, just for a boiler, wherein we have big boiler sizes and we want to save some energy. So that's the way the heat pump will come into picture. So it's a multi-usage product. Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Praveen.
Welcome.
From the same person, Mr. Najm again. Question is, does the ESP remain the same for ecology unit after use of the filter?
Yes, good question. For the electrostatic precipitator, any filter, any equipment, it has a lifetime for sure, and it depends upon how you maintain it. It will, for sure, it's it needs continuous maintenance because will be accumulated like particles and grease. You need to clean it in order to maintain its performance throughout the lifetime. So there will not be a big change in the performance, provided that you maintain the continuous regular maintenance for this filter.
Thank you, Mr. Abdurrahman. So the next question is, can we have the mini chiller catalog? Is it available in the local market? What is the lead delivery period of it?
I think Baklisi can answer that.
We have that available in our portal for all the catalogs, and not only the catalogs. Actually, you will find what you call it like case studies which is a full comparison between this system and the traditional system. That is for sure available. If not, you can contact our partner Al Muayyad. They having all these full details about each of the model presented. Remember that we have presented a couple of series. All of them is coming under mini chiller. We have the, let us call it super mini chiller, which is the YVAG, that can start from even 1.5 or 2 ton up to 4 tons. And we have the YCX, which Praveen has presented also in his presentation, and the YMA, which is the constant speed or the variable speed, depends on your node. So that is absolutely available. What was the second part of the question about the
Delivery time, delivery time.
Delivery time, these products are coming from our China Guangzhou factory. I think that will be a surprise to the attendance. We talk about a chiller that can be delivered maybe in 2 weeks, ex-factory date for the YVAG, the YCX, maybe longer period, which is almost 7 weeks for the inverter version. So this is really super short lead time. In many cases, you can consider orders that we are selling around. We started promoting and selling this in Middle East, managed to, already promoting that from our Europe and Africa markets, which is, typically moving from the VRF to the mini chillers to now. So we have it already in Oman, we have it in Iraq, Jordan, around us in Middle East, Pakistan. So we would like really to activate, that as soon as possible in Bahrain to join all this, new path change. And I said, these machines sometimes get ready before their indoor fan cool unit, So it is really a super short time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Baklizi. So the next question would be, VRF units have a feature called variable refrigerant temperature for part load condition. Is it similar feature available in this?
Praveen.
So variable refrigerant temperature, I'm not much familiar with that terminology, but yeah, I mean, as far as the part load improvement goes, definitely we have this. YCAE is going to be constant speed, like I had a talk with you. YMAA can go up to all the way to 260 kW. So we do have inverter technology, which is going to take care of the part load. Also, we have EVI, which is enhanced vaporization, which is also going to give that boost in the COP levels. So that's really helpful as well. And also in capacity, it helps. So we have EVI and inverter, both the technologies are there to give that boost in the part load values. I'm not familiar with the term variable temperature in VRF, but I'm not sure how the function works. But definitely can explain how we have inverter and then we have the EVI system, which will take care of the part load. So definitely, and we have tremendous part load values, which we have compared as well. Yep.
Thank you, Praveen, for this answer. And let me add to that. In the option which you have it in the VRF, which is a variable refrigerant temperature, that is actually an option which is needed. I mean, in maybe in a specific session, which we can go really more technical, that is an option you need it in VRF because of when the on coil on the indoor machine is changing. As you know, we are using here compressor as a pump. So in a VRF system, compressor is basically the heart of the system, plus it is the pumping for the fluid between indoor and outdoor. Think about it when you have, a variable on coil on that. In a refrigerant case, you will always between two threats. Either you end up with a freezing for your indoor machine because liquid is more, or superheat. And in both cases, that is a damage for your compressor. So that option is needed for that protection. When we move to the mini chiller option, as you know, compressor is using a middle fluid, which is, refrigerant inside the chiller, fluid is water, and then you go to the indoor machine with water. That threat is no more available because even if you deal with either variable on-call temperature due to the fresh air percentage, or even if you deal, with a higher fresh air percentage, that it become never a threat because that, either freezing or superheat is not a challenge. End of the day, we have an intermediate fluid that separate and protect our compressor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bakhlisi and Praveen. Next question would be, what will be the cost difference between the EC and the standard FCU unit? Sorry, FCU motor.
Yeah, it is like a very excellent question, but I wanted to not have only look at the initial cost. Initial cost is important, but as we described through the presentation, we need to look into the operating cost. So the biggest saving you will have as an owner or consultant to your building is the operating cost that you are saving from the installing EC fan coil unit. EC fan coil unit, it will have, as I mentioned, saving at minimum 40% compared to the conventional fan coil unit. So this is need to be taken into account while you are doing this comparison between the two systems. Coming back to your question, as the technology is increasing the demand on EC motor, the prices are currently moderate. It is becoming to a stabilization, but it is not reaching to a level of the level of the permanent switch capacitor motor or the conventional fan coil unit. The difference currently you are talking about between 20 to 25% difference between the two fan coil units. If you are talking about EC fans or EC fan coil unit or EC or AC. So the difference currently is between 25% in cost, initial cost. But if you are looking about the savings, you can have ROI within 1 year of operation. The owner will have return on investment within the first year. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Abdul Rahman. So the next question is from Anup KP. How about the sound level of EC motor fan coil units with the high static requirement?
Yeah, as we have seen in one of the graphs that at high performance, okay, the EC fan coil unit will perform similar to the normal fan coil unit. But the importance here of the EC motor that you can have like multiple speeds, not only 3 speeds that you can control the fan coil unit operation only on 3 spots. You have infinite spots that you can reduce the sound, while if you reach the set point, for sure the speed of the motor will reduce, and accordingly you will have the benefit out of the EC motor. So the saving difference at high speed, if you are operating the 2 fan coil unit at the same speed, the high speed, you will have better in terms of EC of around 5% savings on the sound. But if it is operational at partial load, you will have big savings on sound, which can reach up to like 20% savings of sound.
Thank you, Mr. Abdul Rahman. So the next question is from Mr. Sheikh Ibrahim. Can we utilize ecology unit in toilet exhaust system?
Yeah, if you have like a big facility or for example, airports or a station where you need to exhaust the air outside the system and clear it like without having this bad smell, for sure you can have utilize the ecology unit in this application, for sure, because it includes, as I mentioned, acoustic filter, HEPA filter, bag filter, and carbon filter, which can absorb all the noise and smell. Yes, it can be used. And in terms of the capacity, we have the smallest capacity of this unit can go up to 1,500 CFM, and the biggest size up to around 23,000 CFM. So we have like 9 models covering this wide range of airflow.
Thank you, Mr. Abdul Rahman. So the next question is, what is the smallest capacity of ecology unit available?
Yeah, as I mentioned, like we have the
Only
smallest one
answer.
is 1,500 CFM. Yeah.
So there's one question in the chat box, which was asked by Qasim Khan. What different type of heat recoveries are offered on your all handling units, AHU?
Yeah, we have different type of heat recovery system as shown in the presentation. We have the most common heat recovery system on all like residential and commercial applications is the heat wheel. heat recovery wheel is the most common type because it has it can recover sensible and latent energy, and it has higher efficiency. But the drawback of the heat recovery wheels is the cross contamination, which can come up to 5% cross contamination between the exhaust to the supply side. This is one system. We can provide plate exchangers, we can provide runaround coil, we can provide as well heat recovery by heat pipe. So 4 systems of heat energy recovery can be provided.
Thank you, Mr. Abdul Rahman. Due to time constraint, we will not be able to take more questions. However, our team will be in touch with your queries. At the final phase, I would like to now invite Mr. Lohidas to thank everyone for taking the time from their busy schedule to attend today's webinar. So please.
Good evening, all of you. I would like to thank you all for coming and attending this webinar. I hope this was a very informative and useful presentations from the experts from JCI. I would like to thank and congratulate the team of Johnson Control and Almoyed Air Conditioning for arranging such a wonderful seminar. I would like to thank both the company's IT team, the marketing team who has supported us in arranging this. I would like to once again stress on my sincere thanks to all the architects, engineering consultants, clients, contractors who are present this, and looking forward to have a very good business relationship and discussions further on these items with you. We will be available to answer all your queries. We'll be sharing our screen, the contact details after this session. So you can contact us for all your queries. Once again, thank you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a nice evening.
Thank you.
So now we will be sharing our screen, as Mr. Lohidas have said, for some time with the contact details of our representative. Please feel safe to save the screen to contact us anytime for your requirements. Thank you once again, everyone. I am your host, Shahrukh Mohammed. Would be signing off. Enjoy every bit of your evening.